How'd it do the second time?
I'm not refreshing the page. Sorry, just not. Yeah, it's still LinkedIn takes a while to connect. But I did the thing where you create an event, which lets me modify the description, and it like does different things with the live stream destinations.
Hmm.
And with Twitter or X, I had to not just remove the streaming stuff in the media producer in X, but I had to remove the connected app and refresh everything.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. I had to create a support ticket because I was getting an API error. I'm like, I don't understand why I'm getting an API error. Like, whose fault is that? And my guess is X changed their API, so I had to remove that API connected app and re-add it, and then everything worked. And now we're live streaming
How about
and
that?
recording. I'm gonna try not to screw it up this week too.
It's a big ask.
It is.
Big,
It
it's a big
is.
ask.
Hey, I said I was gonna try.
Yeah, no promises. No promises,
I
right?
think Manny might be joining, but two's a
Sweet.
party.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
actually, and
Go ahead.
I know I'm not going to be on one of our other shows next week, so
Yeah.
I've actually got like a couple of news stories that I
Oh,
thought were
good.
pretty
Yeah, I've
interesting.
got some stuff flagged too. So,
Sweet.
hey everyone, welcome to the Hacker Syndicate live stream beta extravaganza. I'm I'm Paul Asadorian. This is Larry Pesce, my partner in crime for over 20 years now.
That's kind of crazy.
Right? We were
That's
hanging out
crazy.
before we did the podcast,
Yeah.
obviously,
Yep.
from way back in the day.
Good old days of Ocean Shore Patrol.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
not what it
short.
sound and not what it sounds like. There were no boats involved.
There were no boats involved, which is ironic. I'm going out on a boat this afternoon.
Nice. Nice.
It's the first day of summer, and my wife wanted to go out on a boat, so we booked an afternoon boat. We do that Freedom Boat Club thing. So,
Nice.
yeah, it'll be good.
Nice. You see, you're going on a boat, and I'm spending my afternoon packing for Amsterdam. Just
Yeah.
yeah, it's all right. It's all right. There are trade-offs or something.
I don't know if you want to maybe turn your gain up just a little bit, Larry. I don't know if it's
Hmm.
my end, and I didn't kill my fans or anything either, which is bad.
I don't know if I can turn up my gain. Hold on a second.
Oh, let me turn my fans off too. I should have done that before I started, but I was
Hey.
messing with the live stream. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Hey, you screwed it up. It's
I
plain and
did.
simple.
See, I said I wasn't gonna, and then I did.
Yep. Oh, hey,
Well,
yeah, I can turn my input volume up a little bit. How's that? Is that any better?
a little, not much.
All right. How about that? Is that any
That's
better?
better. I
Hey,
think that's
there we
better.
go. Yeah,
So what's going on?
super simple setup. There's no mixer. There's headphones on a
Mm-hmm.
computer. That's it.
Right. Actually, if you can turn your gain up like more, I don't know if it's on my end or not.
All right. How's that?
That's a little better. Yeah, there we
Okay.
go.
All right. Good.
I was looking at a bunch of stuff. SSH. I sent that to our internal Signal chat. My
Oh.
multi-factor SSH thing. That was cool.
Oh. I didn't. I don't know if I saw that one. What's that one all about?
So I saw this guide, and some of these guides are. All right, hold on. So I'm going to share my screen and not screw it up.
Oh, wrong. Don't hit the wrong button.
I don't want to hit the wrong button. So I saw this article, and some of these, like some of these are good, some of these are bad. I saw another one that was like the top 50 Linux commands that you didn't know about or something like that. And it was like the first command was like ls. I'm like, really?
What?
Come on now. Like,
Article written by AI. Yep.
correct. That's you get a lot of that today, right? Especially those
Mhm.
lists. This one may or may not have had some AI help, but overall I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it hit me right in the feels when number two was BIOS and UEFI protection, right?
Yep.
I was like, oh, well, that's maybe not. I don't know, but disk encryption. I've had my dealings with Linux disk encryption.
Uh huh.
I had that heinous problem a while back on
I
my
remember
laptop.
that.
Remember
I
that?
remember that. I
Where I
do.
couldn't enter the password to decrypt the drive because there was something wrong with the keyboard driver
Yep.
on the system.
Yep.
So
How did you ever get around that? Did you have to start from scratch again?
yeah, so I had to boot
Yeah.
on a removable media,
Yep.
mount the drive, enter my password because then it didn't have that keyboard issue, copy my data, and then rebuild the system. Which fortunately it was a newer laptop, so I didn't have much on there. But yeah,
Yep. Yeah. Still. Ugh.
I know. I'm just. It seemed like a lot of times I run into more problems with disk encryption. Like BitLocker is the same way. It's not just the Linux one.
Yep.
Remember back in the studio, things would like BitLocker. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was bad.
Yep. But
Like
that said,
BitLocker for no reason, and then we couldn't find which account had the key because these were just
uh,
like systems that ran the podcast. It wasn't someone's workstation
right,
necessarily.
right.
That was bad.
But of course, it's everybody recommends, and I think we still recommend you should be using full disk encryption. But the
Yeah,
point also being is make sure you have a good backup of the essential stuff in a
yeah,
reasonable location and secure those appropriately. I mean, I had kind of the same thing happen. Um, wasn't disk encryption related, but got it the new to me Mac that we're talking about on one of our other shows, and I basically did a disk to disk copy. But during that disk to disk copy, my mail client basically went, "Hey, yeah, we don't know about any of your accounts. Log in with your sync account." And I have no idea what the sync account was, so I logged in and I had no mail accounts. But of course, because it was synced, I fired up the old Mac and well, it synced with that and wiped all the accounts. I'm like,
oh,
yeah. And there's an email account on there that I had for years that was subject of one of my talks from years ago, um, that I lost access to because I don't know the password.
hmm
I haven't needed to use the password in forever because it's been stored in my mail client. And um, I think the email account that was tied with it for recovery is like larry@paul.com.com.
yeah. I know. We've been through so many emails in 20 years, right?
Yeah, exactly. And like, so there's no way for me to get this account back. I don't think. So like,
Yeah. Sometimes recovering accounts is hard.
yeah, that was the fun one, and it's still happening. That
hmm
was an account that in some Sans class, Josh Wright was talking about. Like he made a fake app, and it was for like a clown dating app.
Yeah.
And the email he had was because he hates clowns, was an email address that was disparaging to clowns, like clowns type of deal at
Right.
gmail.com. And someone else in the Midwest thought that that was their account, and they kept signing up for stuff at that account.
Oh.
It is the account of record for their North Plains Credit Union.
Yeah.
It is their the email of record for their Walmart stock employee stock options.
hmm
Like you get the
Oh, that's
notice,
bad.
like you get the notice that hey, you have new options that have vested, and like within hours you see that hey, here's your sales notice, and you got $24.
Right.
Like yeah,
Oops.
yeah. So no more fun with that one. But I had lots of fun back in the day with that one.
Eh,
Back up your stuff. Sorry,
right.
I took us off way off on a tangent here,
No,
but
it's fine. Yeah, so they talk about the grub. Uh, so your bootloader can have a password. Like I feel like I don't use that very often. Hey, Mandy,
What's up, guys?
how's it going?
Super well. How about you?
Going good.
Yeah.
We're just talking about this cool article that I found about hardening Linux servers, and we are in the part where you can have grub prompt for a password when it boots.
Really?
And I'm like debating in my head. I'm like, well, how much protection does that really add? I wonder. I'd have to ask my coworkers, like, what the actual security benefit is to that. Like, what attacks does
Yeah.
that prevent and protect against? I actually don't know. I'll admit I don't know.
I mean, arguably, if you don't have the password, you can't boot the system.
Right. So physical protection. I
Yep.
mean, you could put a BIOS password and a grub password, and that would be. There's probably some super paranoid people that do that. Password policies. I mean, yeah, that's a good one. But the one that I liked and I was like, oh, that's really cool. I need to do that. Now, admittedly, there's some weird things in here. Like, there's some weird artifacts. Like, I don't know why it has text right there. Like, that's kind of weird. Um, but these commands, like, almost sort of worked as is, but not
Uh-oh.
really.
Uh-oh.
So I did this on one of my systems. So what this does is, well, with some modifications, if you've got an SSH public key as your primary authentication, you can then add Google Authenticator as your second factor of authentication when you SSH into the systems. So I did this on one of my test systems, which happened to be a Raspberry Pi. So one of the changes I had to make was on Raspberry Pi. I think I'm running Ubuntu on my Raspberry Pi. It's SSH, not SSHD, is the name of the service. So I had to change that, which that's not a big deal. And I think that's just because I'm running Ubuntu on Raspberry Pi. So the way that actually works in practice, I created some documentation. You have to install that library. You have to, in your etcpam.d sshd config file, you have to, well, if you want it to work the way I wanted it to work, you have to comment out this include common auth. And what that does is removes password authentication as a valid authentication option. So, because what was happening was I was authenticating via public key. It was asking me for a password, and then it was asking me for the multi-factor authentication from Google Authenticator. I'm like, no, like 2 is fine. Like, just let me do a public key and let me do the Google. And so that was one of the changes I had to make that work. And then my SSHD underscore config file, I had to add these things, right? So I disabled password authentication. Challenge response is what enables the Google thing. Use PAM tells it to look to the PAM subsystem for that configuration. I told it my authentication methods were public key, keyboard interactive. I think keyboard interactive allows you to enter the PIN number from your Google Authenticator. I changed permit root login to prohibit password. That was something extra I added. And then I made sure public key authentication was enabled. Now, you didn't want to cut off the branch I was standing on, right? So
Right.
I had multiple SSH sessions going, like, just in case. Then you have to run Google Authenticator to create your Google Authenticator entry. And it's really cool. It pops up a QR code in the terminal. I don't know how it does it, but it's like a black and white QR code comes up in your terminal, which is pretty neat. So then you add that to your Google Authenticator, and then you restart SSHD. And now when you log in, it'll authenticate first with your public key, and then it'll prompt you for your Google Authenticator. And it seems to be working pretty well so far. So I may actually do this on all of my systems,
Nice.
just to be paranoid.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I think when I do this on our Pulse Security Weekly, I want to look into some other SSH things. So like SSH agent stores your key in memory, makes it a little easier. You don't have to enter your passphrase all the time. Then I want to implement a way to sync my SSH config file to all of my systems.
Ooh.
There's multiple ways to do that, Ansible being
Yeah.
one of them, right? And then there's also SSH access managers. SSH AM is an open source project that kind of acts like an access broker. And Teleport, were they a sponsor for a while? I don't remember. I thought they were. I might be getting that confused with something else.
I think you are.
Yeah.
I don't remember it, but if it was really long time
A long time ago.
Well, yeah.
What do they focus on?
So Teleport is like an access broker kind of thing. So you can set up accounts an access broker is grants you temporary access. Like if Larry needed to SSH into one of my systems, I could grant Larry access for a certain system for a certain amount of time, and then his authentication would expire. So I thought that was pretty cool. I'll continue to iterate on that and then hopefully have more when I do the actual technical segment.
Wait, so what are you saying with using teleport in this situation? It's across your own systems, right?
Teleport is like a cloud. One of my shit
Well,
detector
no.
went off, right? They're like a cloud. Like you have to where was that? That was in a. Hold on, let me stop sharing my screen. It was in a Chat GPT. Perplexity. Perplexity recommended Teleport. It's certificate-based SSH authentication with single sign-on and RBAC. Short-lived certificates, multi-factor enforcement, session recording, and audit logs. And I can hold on, let me move this
But
tab.
why? Okay, but why were you including it in your own? If you were going to use this, like doing like a new config across your own systems, why would you use Teleport?
Extra features. So I asked Perplexity what open source management tools exist to help SSH manage SSH access and something else. And that's what it came back with. And so that was the command. And I was like, well, that's interesting. Like, I hate this, first of all. Like, I don't know what's in that shell script, and it's just executing on my system. Yeah, ideal for enterprises needing compliance. So we could read this and get the benefits. I swear they were a sponsor. Yeah, so you can like share root credentials with folks. It's more granular control over access.
Right. I like how
Which
they
is
call it
interesting.
infrastructure resiliency.
Yeah.
So the just-in-time access requests.
See, now if I had built the AI thing that I was working on to index all of our shows, I could probably find it. Without that, I'm resorting to Google.
I talked with Chris Lindsay about that too, about what you were trying to do with the shows, because I think you had some
Yeah.
good ideas.
Nice.
Teleport. I swear they were a sponsor.
You swear a lot.
Yeah, I do. But like, finding that is why is it so hard to find our episodes? It's like highly annoying.
I mean, it's not hard to find our episodes because they're just live streams, right? Security
these,
Weekly
yeah,
episodes,
but
on the other stand.
Yeah,
These
yeah.
5 episodes, probably pretty simple. The prior episodes of Security Weekly, yeah.
Was
Find it yet?
it episode 757? Yeah. They were a sponsor. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, Consivoy. Ev Consivoy is like the founder of Teleport, I believe. And yeah, we had a securityweekly.com/teleport.
Oh. Well, I stand corrected. Well, actually, I sit corrected.
Yeah, I was going to say,
but
you're
it's
not
Right.
standing.
Right.
No.
So let's see if I can put this in the live stream
Larry doesn't stand
chat.
for anything.
Well, hello.
Josh, you need to
Oh,
open
it's
the sunroof.
Josh.
How are you?
I was going to say, you need to open the sunroof, Josh.
Riverside's complaining that you joined in portrait mode and not landscape mode.
Okay, I've turned it sideways. It's not doing anything.
That's what
Yeah,
she
it
said.
froze.
That's what she said.
So F Riverside. I can only stay on for a couple minutes anyway. I'm going to drop, but like they just dropped me into a client call. This last one went 15 minutes over, and the next one is in 10 minutes. So like, what the fuck is wrong with people today?
They need you, Josh. They need your expert advice.
Oh, fuck me. And then somebody moved Hacker Syndicate earlier in the day, and I didn't know this.
I know, because I'm going out on a boat this afternoon. That's why.
You fuck. It's the open house day for the Delaware Boat Club.
Yeah, and next week, I'm driving to... Where am I going next weekend? Oh, we're going camping next weekend,
Oh, that's
and
right.
we leave on Friday. So I won't be able to do... I'll have to take the day off because I got to pack up the car and stuff
Fuck
and
it.
go
Well,
camping in New Hampshire for 2 days. Well, it's not really camping; it's glamping. We have a house, like a little hut or shack, cabin. That's the word I was looking for.
A yurt.
No, we have
Ooh,
a
at the
cabin.
campsite, First
And
Landing campsite has
it's not-
yurts you can rent.
It's not camping. It's a cabin. It has running water, a shower, a bathroom, and electricity.
That is
So,
glamping. That is totally glamping.
It's a hotel.
Yeah.
It's basically a hotel
It's a
room.
hotel.
It's a
Yeah.
hotel in the woods. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the only thing we
Yeah,
have to do
hotel
is we have to make our own food, but there's a Hannaford and a Walmart less than a mile away. So,
Jesus Christ.
See,
not
I-
really camping.
It's a hotel room with a fire pit. You know what
yeah,
I mean? Like
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. And without a lobby. That's the only thing. It's a great
Yeah,
outdoors.
exactly.
Yeah. The lobby.
You don't
yeah,
have-
great
There's
Well,
a
I think
kicker.
there's
You
actually
don't
like a
have a
little
bell
general
person.
store. I think there's a little general
You
store
have
you can like buy
Wi-Fi.
stuff. Yeah, well,
You have
Wi-Fi. Exactly.
Okay, so my
You're at a
primitive
hotel.
camping, the last, after RVA sec, I almost didn't consider it primitive camping because there were toilets, there were bathhouses in the campground. So
If you
I
don't have
mean,
to bring a trowel to go to the bathroom, it's not primitive camping.
exactly, I'm like, this is actually closer to glamping, even though I'm literally sleeping in the back of a truck or on the ground with no walls. Because somebody else was like, well, no, as long as there's no walls, I consider that primitive. I'm like, well, yeah, there were definitely no walls. And there's no electricity other than my Ryobi batteries and my car charger.
Yeah. Because that's more like camping. Yeah.
That was it.
20
It was
years
not-
ago, I used to go to. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, and I didn't even start campfire or anything. I literally brought everything that didn't have to be cooked. So
Nice.
it was very simplistic that way.
Yeah. Can of
Although
cooked
my
beans.
electric kettle would not work. I was shocked because my inverter wouldn't power my electric kettle, so I didn't get to have hot water.
Oh yeah, I bought
Oh.
a teapot. I didn't know that we were gonna have electricity, so I bought like a little teapot that I could put on the fire.
Teapot.
Yeah.
You know, you can buy any single stainless steel, single wall, or titanium actually, single wall vessel can be used to boil water.
Yeah, and they sell special things that like you light the little burner beneath it, and it boils the water really fast for camping. They were
Right.
actually kind of expensive. Some were like over $100. But now I'm thinking I'm just gonna bring my electric tea kettle. Now I can bring my coffee pot if I wanted to.
You,
I
you
think I
could,
would-
you could, you could.
Next time, if I do actually bring firewood or cut firewood or something and create a fire, then I have this super antique espresso maker. Like
Yes,
from
those
Italy,
are awesome.
Like,
yes,
that's what I would probably use.
there's a name for it in
Yeah.
Italian.
Mocha, the mocha pot.
Yeah,
It actually
exactly.
makes some of the best coffee.
Exactly.
My
Like, I will take
yeah.
my mocha pot.
Yes.
That thing was probably in World War One.
Yes, they've been around that long. Yeah.
See that dent in the mocha pot? Yeah, that's a German. You know.
Is it a perk? I forget how those were. There's like two pieces, and you pack the coffee in like the little screen
It
thing,
has the screen, right?
and then the water percolates from the bottom into the
No,
upper
no.
part.
It doesn't.
something
It
like
doesn't
that.
percolate. It actually.
It presses.
It steams through. It boils in the bottom and passes through as water vapor, thereby
Yes.
actually
Ah.
performing a pressurized shot, if you will.
Yeah. It's awesome. Also, Aaron got me one of the travel like espresso makers. What is that called? I can think of what it's called now. AeroPress.
Aeropress. Yeah.
Yes. So I was
My
thinking of bringing
wife-
that.
My wife through a Kickstarter has a hand-powered coffee grinder
Mm.
for camping. Ask me
Right.
how many times we've been camping in the last 10 years.
Yeah,
Um,
camping's like a whole thing. Anyway.
One less than the number of hand-powered coffee grinders you got through Kickstarter.
Exactly.
You guys make this all so complicated. I literally have gone camping before with a trash bag, some cold pizza, and like one blanket.
You've never
trash
packed
trash
my
bag
wife.
optional. Yeah.
We're going to
trash
Hershey
bag
Park this coming week, and for like 2 days. 2 days. She's gonna have 3 bags packed. I guarantee you. Not even a joke.
That's awesome. Oh, did I tell you guys about I told you guys about my ADHD fueled shopping
Yes,
experience?
Yes.
Oh Jesus.
And then I'll have to tell you about my
Oh.
ADHD fueled jealousy, but yes, go ahead.
Oh my god. So hold on. So it all started. I was checking my feet, which we could talk about how Paul finds stories if anyone's interested.
No,
Wait. I got to run in a couple of minutes. But
Probably
I need to
not.
tell you really quick, Paul, about one thing.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the nanocluster?
No.
Oh my God, Google Nano Cluster.
Is it a really small Beowulf cluster?
It's close, yes.
Can you run a Beowulf cluster on it?
I don't know.
Remember Beowulf clusters?
You probably could. It holds 6 or 7 compute modules, and it's the size of a Pop-Tart box.
I see.
They're
Yeah, Jeff
kinetically
Geerling has a video on it.
Dude, it's
100
like
gigs of
really-
RAM and 28 cores in the size of a coffee mug.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Now to do that, it's like $600, but that includes all the compute, and it's compatible with those compute modules that have NPUs on them, so you can do it for AI.
Yeah, there it is right there.
Okay, are you looking at is that on the video? No, I'm looking at the one from Jeff Geerling.
Yeah, there was an article in my Google results below the Jeff Geerling one.
I'm honestly going, that's expensive, but oh, that would be nice.
Yeah, so you can load a bunch of CM5s in it. That's what I would load it with.
Well, the M4Ns, the Chapid M4Ns have NPUs, teraflops of NPUs.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Wait, how does it cool?
With
It's
a
got
fan.
a fan on the end. On the
Oh, I
the
see it. I
picture's
see
on
it now.
screen on the
Yeah.
left-hand
Yeah.
side.
Okay.
Fan.
Yeah.
Okay. I got to drop, guys. I'll talk to you
I'm a really
later.
big fan.
Hi, Josh.
See,
You're
Josh?
not a big fan?
No,
Yeah,
I'm a really big fan. It's got a really.
That's pretty wild.
Huh.
Oh, so I found this video. I don't know how I found it, but I was checking my feeds and I found this video. Installing Windows 11 on a $750 Linux tablet, but everything goes wrong. And I was like, I thought Linux in the open source kind of gave up on the tablet thing, but apparently not. And there's a bunch of Linux tablets. But however, if you search for Linux tablets or prompt an LLM, I didn't save the article. They all trace back to this one article that the whole article is entirely not true. The article says that both System 76 and Framework make a tablet, and it had names for the tablets, but those products don't exist.
Oh, jeez.
So, like, the AI didn't really hallucinate. It's just its source was horribly inaccurate. So then I was like, well, now I really want to find, like, a Linux tablet. I looked at the one they talked about in this video, and I thought it was kind of pricey because I could only buy it in pounds. I don't know. He hasn't, like, put a link to it. There's no, like, advertisements here, but I, like, didn't like that one. So then after trying to fact-check the article that was wrong, I ended up on Framework's site, and I saw that they have this Laptop 12. And it does the folding thing, right, where it folds into a tablet. And I really like the specs, so I ended up pre-ordering one. Larry thought it was
That
too
will-
expensive, which I thought was hilarious.
Well, no, but that was Larry's configuration.
Right.
Of it.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
think like the version you got, and absolutely the I adore machines that flip back to tablet style.
Yeah, I thought that, like, for the podcast, if I could fold it like this and just have the screen facing me,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I could
See,
put
I
Discord on there and then follow along on Discord on the show with just like a little laptop. I was trying to do it on my phone last episode, and I couldn't read the screen because I had different glasses on.
See, I have one that I use just below. So I have my setup with the, it's called Little Argy, the laptop that I'm recording on, and then I have this just below it.
Oh yeah, but now I'm thinking my
Mm.
Surface could probably do that too.
See,
I haven't
and
booted up my Surface Pro. What is that?
Okay.
Is that a Surface?
That's like an antique Chromebook.
Oh, okay.
So you're the desktop, like Linux on the
Yeah,
desktop.
Linux desktop.
This is the Asus that I'm going to switch to Linux because it was Windows 10, and this was also.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
funny
it
the
was-
the Linux thing on here says compatibility details coming soon. So I imagine like some stuff is not going to work when I get it and put Linux on it until, developers catch up. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So I mean, they start at $549. Mine was like $1,100 the way I configured it. I did the i5 and storage was, I think, Larry, what pushed your price to be higher. Because I just did 500 gigs, but your use case was slightly different from
Yeah.
mine.
So and actually, what I ended up doing, I think part of my problem is, so I went the i5, but I only did 500
Gigs.
500 gig. I did the 48 gigs of memory.
Yeah, 48 gigs of RAM is awesome. Like,
Yep.
perfect. You need, I mean, to run Chrome, you need at least 48 gigs of RAM.
But I did do the 1 terabyte second drive.
Yep. Okay.
Figuring that would be the place where virtual machines and all
Yeah.
that type of stuff would get stored.
Oh, you did the add-on thing, the expansion. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's
Yep.
USB-C. I have a couple of those floating around somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, they make the, so yeah, you've got for their it's 250 to 1 terabyte add-on.
Yeah,
ports. I
add-on.
I did the 1 terabyte add-on.
Expansion cards, they call them. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, interesting. It has a combo headphone jack on it, so you don't have to take up one of your ports with a headphone jack.
Okay.
How many ports did you do?
So you
Can
get
you-
four expansion ports,
Slots,
but it
slots,
comes
yeah.
with
Cards,
the
okay.
headphone jack, which is awesome.
Okay.
And then you can add as many expansion cards as you want. You can put 4 in at once, but
They're
Uh,
hot swappable because they're
yeah.
USB-C effectively.
Hmm.
Yeah, I know I picked
Oh,
USB-C,
but it has a dedicated
HDMI, Ethernet. Nope, it does not. You have to add that as a module.
Oh,
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you're not using Ethernet, you take it out. You can put in HDMI, and
I like the regular
they're all
SD
hot
card.
swappable.
I don't think I had one of those regular SD card readers for my framework. And now my camera
How
does.
often do you use them?
Yeah, so my camera that I've been doing my kids' sports photography with is regular SD.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I've got like, SD cards floating around and readers and stuff like that. Oh, this reader is actually really good. One of my coworkers recommended this. It's Anchor,
Oh, yeah.
micro SD and SD, and it's USB-C and USB-A.
Oh,
And it's super fast. It was kind of pricey. I think it was like 30 or 40 bucks. But it works really well.
how hot does it get?
I haven't noticed any heat issues.
Okay. Because I've got, I had to pick up some USB-C, some USB 3 micro SD readers, and like they were cheap. I think they were like $15, and
Yeah.
and
Oh, that's
by the time I'm done writing to it, like it is hot enough that you
Yeah.
can't touch it. Like it's painful
Yeah.
to unplug because it's so hot. So, but USB-C and USB-A, you'll have to send me a link for that, Paul. Or throw it
Yeah,
in the
I'll have to
chat.
find it in my Amazon history.
Yeah.
And
So
what
yeah,
is
So
the
yeah, I'm
rating
excited.
like?
So they're not shipping. So
Yeah.
the frameworks are pre-ordered.
Yep.
Not
and-
shipping yet, but
Yeah, and
Q3.
Paul, I
They
know-
say Q3. Well, I mean, we're almost in Q3, so hopefully, I mean, they might be delayed. Sometimes they are delayed, but I'm like, I already have 2 laptops. I'm not really worried about it.
I know that some of the other pricing was that I did pay for was including the license for Windows Professional,
Yep.
Windows 11 Professional, which was $200, and power adapter because I know it's USB.
Oh, so you're not going to run Linux?
See, the problem is that I need to support Microsoft PowerPoint slides to be able to deliver the content.
Yeah.
And could you do
Have you
PowerPoint under Linux?
Yeah.
And have it be this says Word for Linux?
Yeah. I like
Wait,
only.
do you generate your own slides, or are you giving them and like it has to be PowerPoint?
So we generate our own slides, and I would be doing that on a different system. But to do the actual instruction and to the delivery, it's
Right.
in PowerPoint.
So I am kind of impressed with OnlyOffice.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
recently, so these are my Linux desktop slides, right? My Linux desktop for security professionals, right? And this came from Google Slides, exported it as a PowerPoint file,
Yep.
and opened it up in OnlyOffice, and everything looks good. Like, I didn't notice any weird stuff.
Formatting issues.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, like I went through the slides and I was like, maybe some of the colors on my borders of the images might be. No, I think no, it nailed it, dude. I mean that one. No, I mean that box was a little off, but again, I didn't start in Power. So this is a conversion from Google Slides into PowerPoint. So yeah. So yeah, I've been digging only Office.
Okay. All right. Okay. I mean, so that's an option. Like, because I can everything else is virtual machines, and there's VMware
Yeah.
for Linux, and that works just fine. So I mean, yeah, that's a potential option. But then again,
I mean, also
it's-
LibreOffice works pretty well too. I mean, they both actually work pretty well.
right. I mean, it's not that I need another laptop, because if you think about it, like currently under my desk there are 3 Macs. I just pulled
Yeah.
this Chromebook out. There are 4 more laptops in that little section over there. There's a drawer with 4 of them over here, and I've got 3 laptops stacked up over there.
Good.
Yeah,
There's-
but
and
you
there's
need a
like 2
daily
more
driver
downstairs.
laptop that's not an older Intel-based Mac.
Do I?
Really? Like,
Do I? Do I? I mean, what? The
yeah,
Mac it does everything that I need it to do, and speedily.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
sure,
Apple's
sure,
not.
but-
Apple's not going to support those forever.
Nope, they're not. Yeah, they've already at WWDC
Yeah.
this week. They've already announced that the next rev of the OS will not be supported on Intel Macs.
Right.
Hence why,
You got to make a move. Yep.
I potentially have to make a move to have something, because yeah, keeping stock of Intel Macs isn't going to last all that much longer.
Right. I hesitate to say dual boot because dual boot it brings with it a lot of challenges.
Mm-hmm.
But with the removable storage, and I've always wanted to do this, but I never really had a need. You could take one of those USB-C expansion cards,
Yep.
that are 250 or a terabyte.
Yep.
Put Windows on that and potentially boot from it and boot Windows.
Yep. You could just do 2 separate, one for Linux and one for Windows, and you
Yeah.
can just swap back and forth.
Right.
Yep.
And then just partition the disk. I mean, you could do that if you wanted to.
Yeah, you wouldn't even need to partition the disk. Just swap in, get 2 of those modules, and then swap in module depending on which you wanted.
Right, but your internal storage, I'm saying you'd want each operating system to be able to access it. So you could basically cut it
Right.
in half. Say one is exe4 and one is
Yep.
NTFS, and have storage space for each operating system.
Arguably, you could use FAT30, exFAT.
Yeah, you
And
could, and they could both share it if you just wanted to put files on it. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I wonder how much issue that would cause when you swap out boot disks for which boot disk was selected for any given time. Would it always try to default to the internal 500, or
Yeah, like there's a lot of different ways to do it.
and there's a lot of ways it could go wrong.
And it's a lot of ways it could go wrong. Yeah, and then Microsoft will inevitably, especially if you have secure boot enabled, break the Linux functionality like they've done in the past. Hopefully they don't do it again, but that's been an issue for dual boot people in the past.
Yep.
We actually have an interesting check that we recently released at Eclipsium that if your system is not configured for dual boot, but you've got a Linux-based bootloader or EFI application that's specific to Linux, it's a finding because it means someone might have tried to bring a piece of
Ooh.
software to bypass secure boot.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah. Cool. Hey, so I picked up a couple of news stories. One of them I thought was crazy, and I think most of it because I didn't understand how it was happening here. Let me I'll share this in Slack here, assuming I can get Instapaper to give me the damn article. I don't want the Instapaper article. I want the actual article.
Yeah. Instapaper will cache it.
I want to share the actual
Yeah.
article. Edit. There we
Are you
go.
going to share your screen? You can share your screen if you want.
Oh, I'm on a different system.
Oh, I can open it on. If you send
Yeah.
it to me, I can open it.
I just sent it into the live stream chat.
Oh, got it. I have to copy and paste it.
Copy pasta.
Oh my god.
What?
The
No?
title. Sorry, I was distracted by the title.
Spam.
Everyone will be able to see it momentarily. This is hilarious. Why NVIDIA was hosting blogs about Brazilian face-sitting fart games.
Yep.
It doesn't sound like something that... I'm just
I-
trying to process Brazilian face-sitting fart games. Is that like a video? In the image here makes it look like it's an actual video game.
I think so. I'm not exactly sure, but there is some description of what Brazilian face-sitting fart games are all about a little bit in this article. Okay, so apologies, definitely not family-friendly on some of this stuff
Right.
here. But however, when it comes to face-sitting and fart games, these activities are not uniquely Brazilian, but rather a part of broader global spectrum of adult games and humor. Like, I feel like I'm missing out on some subset of our society here. But
Wow.
yeah.
So this is kind of, it reminds me of like Leisure Suit Larry kind of style video
Yeah,
games. Yeah.
yeah.
Like adult themed video games.
Yeah. But the biggest thing that I find
Yeah,
is
this-
crazy is like all of this content is being highly driven SEO and so forth, and it's being filled up on these sites that are subdomains of
Yep.
like in this case it was NVIDIA. There's stuff over at like government sites.
This is on vaccines.gov. They had gay
yeah.
impregnation and gay furry porn.
Yeah, but like, so my question is here. They say that in the article that it is because it was of abandoned subdomains.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I understand how a subdomain gets abandoned. Like, you go and you put it in your DNS records and you set up a site at, something,
Right.
what was it, something.nvidia.com, and then it goes to a site, and then you take the site down, but you never move it from your DNS. So how does someone else get this stuff there? The only thing I can think of is if, like, say you're hosting this at AWS, and those IP, because you've shut the site down, those IPs get recycled into the pool, and you happen to stumble upon an IP address for your container that is being redirected from something.nvidia.com. And now you can populate this abandoned subdomain with all
Right.
sorts
So
of
they were
stuff.
populating with
Didn't
their
we
own
talk
tech.
about that?
So this is like a subdomain takeover. I mean, it could also be that someone set up a WordPress site on a subdomain and then forgot about it and they hack into it.
Yeah, it didn't seem
But
like that because it
This
was kind of all
seems
over the
more like a
place.
subdomain takeover,
Totally,
and then I put
yeah.
up my own site on that.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yep,
Marshall
yep.
Bananas says that they likely aren't taking over domains, but probably exploiting old blog installations and gaining right access to unmonitored sites.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so, how does that subdomain takeover work? Just kind of like I explained, like
Yeah.
But yeah, AWS instance, it's at 192.168.1.1.
Well, it's what happened to
You
us with
should-
security fail, basically. Similar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
If
Well,
you don't
secure-
update your DNS and that IP address gets recycled to
somebody else.
somebody else,
Yeah.
then that somebody else controls the content on that domain because it points to
Yeah.
their IP address now.
Yeah, and also
Kevin-
subdomain too. Sorry.
Kevin Mursky says that it's likely crawling for vulnerable WordPress sites and taking them over.
Interesting. I mean, are not potentially wrong. So yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting because one, now that we're talking about it, I'm like, oh, all right, yeah, this makes sense. So I kind of doing it live, like how the heck are they getting this stuff there? And because if NVIDIA owns the domain, how are they hijacking the subdomain? Like, and now it makes sense that if they shut it down and never actually removed DNS entries, it's still pointing to some IP somewhere. And with the dynamic nature of something like AWS or that type of stuff, I can see that. But how lucky do you have to get
To
have-
take over, yeah,
to have
right. That was a
happen?
security fail. Someone got really lucky.
Yep.
But this
It-
seems like
Well-
events.nsv.nvidia.com could have been likely a WordPress site that someone abandoned, and then someone was able to basically just start posting articles to it.
Yeah.
That would be even easier.
Go ahead, Mandy.
Well, so what was that called? What is that spam organization that was taking it over? Lazy something? When they take these over, then are they putting like ads? Are they generating, attempting to generate income, or is like why do this?
Could be ad revenue, or it could
Yeah.
just be
Wow, lazy. Yeah.
Wow, lazy. There we
Yeah.
go. Wow,
Yeah.
lazy.
don't know what the motivate. I would think if they want to make money, they'd put ads on it, and they would get the other benefit is they SEO wise benefit from the Nvidia.com,
Yes.
Yeah.
Big
right?
time.
It's because it's an established domain.
Because we're going through the article there, like, so part of that was like somebody was searching for like cat cafes nearby, best Portland cat cafes on DuckDuckGo, which pulls its result from Bing, and the top result was from events.nsv.nvidia.com, and even the AI totally went crazy with some of that type of stuff, and making stuff up, and yep.
That's pretty wild.
Dude, this is why
Nope.
everybody is going to have what seems to be dementia before they're 50, because trying to sort through this crap.
One of the other stories, Paul, that I had
Yeah.
was one that's near and dear to our hearts. Give me a second, and I'll try to get a link here. But now my why does this do this? There's days that I hate Instapaper. I mean, I like it for some of our workflow. But all right, I'll share this one.
Oh, okay, and shout out to Jiggle Billy, who in
Yeah.
the chat said that some SetCaseers build Beowulf clusters.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
this is the anchor thing, by the way. I'll put the link in the.
Sweet. So I just shared the other story, Paul. Where is Jack Daniel when we need him? Because it is a
Oh yeah.
the right to repair stuff from John Deere. In fact, there's some irony on some of this stuff. That federal judge says, yeah, you do need to go to court, because you need to go to court because right to repair stuff, you are definitely feels like you're violating all sorts of stuff by having owners of modern John Deere tractors have a special software tool and controlling parts and all of this type of stuff. Nope. So yeah, my favorite part of the whole article that when I found this yesterday was that basically this judge said is the same judge that is dealing with their class action lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
Basically said, hey, I'm seeing this class action one, and you basically took your arguments from your class action lawsuit and replayed them against this other one.
Right, the federal lawsuit. Yeah.
The federal lawsuit. And his response was, sequels so rarely beat their originals, in that even the acclaimed Steve Martin couldn't do it on 3 tries. See, Cheaper by the Dozen 2, Pink Panther 2, Father of the Bride 2. Rebooting its earlier production, Deere sought to defy the odds. To be sure, as nearly all sequels, Deere edited the dialogue and some casts some new characters, giving those cameos to veteran stars like some folks. And Deere received a thumbs down, and Deere 1 received a thumbs down, and Deere 2 fares no better.
Yeah.
The court denies the motion. This, ironically, on the same day where they announce Spaceballs 2.
So, very true.
Yeah, like the universe was coming
also,
together.
If you're going to go to the other side and the facts are the facts, why would Deere present anything else?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Spaceballs 2 is real?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real.
See, this is Paul not believing anything on the internet, and I saw something about Spaceballs 2, and I lumped it in that category of movies that are going to be made that aren't real. Like, have you ever seen the ones that's like a Back to the Future reboot? And it's like, it looks totally like a real trailer, but it's not.
Yep.
I wonder if they're merchandising. No, I'm off on a tangent now, but remember the Spaceballs merchandising story?
Yep.
So,
No.
yeah, so George Lucas, they went to George Lucas, and he was like, you can make this movie totally fine. However, you are not allowed to create any merchandise associated with the film. And that's why in the film, they talk about Spaceballs merchandise as like a trope or, I don't know, like
Yeah.
a rebuttal to that, right?
Yeah.
So
So-
they to this day they could not ever make Spaceballs merchandise because of the licensing agreement. So I'm wondering if that will continue into Spaceballs 2 or if they renegotiated now with Disney, right? If they can have merchandise.
Okay, so I'm curious in the announcement of this prior to, because in the last 48 hours, I had, especially in IG, but in Instagram and some of my reels and stuff, I will partly blame Paul. I do blame Paul for
Always
this.
blame Paul. It's always Paul's
But-
fault.
Always blame Mike for.
Out
And Mike
of
Moore.
nowhere, I've had a number of reels, shorts, posts that come up about men dangling weights from their scrotum. And I don't understand. Like, I don't understand this, but I
The
also
algorithm knows you that like we think Mandy is going to
No.
be interested in this content.
Paul,
don't. And
Paul
I
has.
literally, and the first
Paul-
one I saw, I'm like, I almost sent it to, our group chat because I'm like, why are men so freaking weird? Like, what are you doing? And then there's the announcement about the Spaceballs movie, and I'm like, is this some kind of coordinated crap?
Yeah, right.
Like,
It's all about balls, Mandy. It's all about balls.
like I have no interest in this, but
But
I
if
still
you
blame Paul.
if you copied the link, I'm pretty sure the algorithm knows you copied
See,
the link.
I didn't want to share it because I'm like, yeah,
Yes,
there's
'cause
nothing.
then the
I'm not
algorithm- well, yeah.
interacting. I'm not interacting, even though the one is like these monks dressed all like nicely in some coordinated thing of them swinging
But see-
weights
but
from
see-
their
but
scrotum.
see- But see, the problem is, Mandy, that you spent long enough to digest some of this material, so they think you're interested.
Oh man, I'm
Like,
so,
you need to scroll faster. Seriously.
No. It was
so Jiggle Billy in the chat says Rick Moranis is coming out of retirement for Spaceballs 2,
Yep.
which I'm still skeptical.
Yep. And Mel Brooks at what 92 is going to play Barf.
Oh.
Really?
Yep.
Who
So
was the original actor who played Barf?
Mel
Was it
Brooks.
John Candy?
No, I'm sorry, not Barf. Yogurt. Yogurt.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
John
He did.
Candy passed away, and
He
he
did.
was Barf.
Yep. We don't know who's going to play Barf. So,
Oh, interesting.
Well, that's why Lee was saying he's hope it's not CGI.
yeah.
So
I saw
didn't
that. I saw
realize...
this movie.
You saw the movie?
I
Yeah,
saw this little.
that.
I know. I saw this little trailer that Jiggle Billy shared,
Yep.
and I thought this was just an internet trope. I'm like, this isn't
No.
real.
No, because months ago they talked about it was in the works. I do remember that. And then I also didn't realize that Chris Farley was supposed to have been Shrek, that he recorded like 85% of the movie before he died.
Yeah.
I didn't, if I had known that, I'd forgotten.
I mean, this tracks is Mel. This has Mel Brooks all over it, right?
Oh,
Sure.
totally. Because it's Mel Brooks' legit X account, right?
Yeah.
And
Four Beatles movies.
question mark. Yep. So, yeah.
38 year. No, Spaceballs is 38 years old.
Yes, it is.
Oh my God, I'm old.
Dude, Goonies this week was 40.
Oh my God.
Gee.
Yep. Yep. To think I was 12 years old when that movie came out, and it's a family favorite.
I mean,
See, this is
Spaceballs
why they were
is.
kind of before my time. Like I heard
Space
of them
C's
and
got
stuff,
this
but-
merch. Spaceballs the sweatshirt.
Yep.
We're making this movie. The Schwartz Awakens. No way. Oh my god, I can't believe this is real. It's so awesome.
It's believe it, because it's nowhere near April.
Oh, this is a tangent out of control, but I love it. I love it.
It's great.
It's great.
Well, I
Alright,
mean, is it really a tangent out of control given how much
nerd we are?
go nerds and how much we go on about Star Wars, Paul? So
I know, but now I'm thinking like, can I 3D print Spaceballs merchandise? Probably. I mean, you can 3D print anything, right?
great. With enough talent and enough time,
Yeah, I know.
you can print anything. You can
I was
3D
at
print
a,
a glow in the dark left nostril if you really need it. But
Yeah.
Sure.
it's
I
just
haven't
car
been doing
there.
much 3D printing lately. I took a break from it.
Oh,
I was traveling and stuff.
yeah, I found something the other day on Hackaday that was super awesome that I 3D printed. Because it was something that for years I've wanted to build, and it's just like, okay, it's going to take me like a weekend to build this thing.
Yeah.
And no, some guy 3D modeled it, and like it took me like 2 hours to print out. Like, done. It's a laminar jet water, so laminar jet water flow thing. Because like if with the aerator on your faucet, it comes out and it reduces your overall, and but with the laminar jet, it takes the water and basically removes all the turbidity and sort of straightens it, as it were, so it looks like glass coming out. So, Paul, I know you've been to Disney a bunch.
Yeah.
Like when they do in Epcot, when they have like the water squirt over your head,
Yeah.
over by the theater, that's a laminar jet water fountain. Because the water tends to maintain its shape and it looks kind of like glass.
Yeah.
But this guy made a nozzle for your garden hose that does a laminar water jet now.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm like, I was going to spend like a weekend building one of these things, and
Yeah,
I
you
just printed
3D
one in
print
2
it.
hours. And it
Right.
goes right on the hose. Yep. So. Fun
Yeah,
stuff.
I did 3D print. You can see the Mandalorian helmet and the Grogu.
Yep.
Came out awesome.
Yeah.
Added it to my background.
Yep.
I do want to get start creating my own models, but people make some cool shit though.
Yeah. Yep. I've got to start on the project. Maybe I can, sometime this summer while I'm sitting at home, because I bought all of the black filament, the sun, the eSun
Yep.
filament to print the IG-88 probe nurse droid.
Mm.
So I got to get
That's
started
pretty cool.
on that. Yeah.
I had some like random hardware stuff too. Have you seen Rootkit Labs?
It sounds familiar, but what did you find?
So they make this thing for journalists, as an example, and it is a USB drive that's just blank. But if you plug it in 3 times in a row, you can read and write data to it.
Mm.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yep.
And they've got like a flipper add-on. I mean, everyone makes these flipper add-ons. I'm not sure why this one's $149. I mean, if you look at what's on there, like
SD card reader, Wi-Fi, USB. Oh, interesting.
yeah, it's interesting, right? I just
Because
the
it's
SD
shaped like a
card,
black
yeah.
hat, and because it's called black hat, that's why it's 140.
Yeah,
Not wrong.
it's
David.
weird. So it's got a
Yeah, like that's it.
2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi radio, 1.8 gigahertz all-winner A33, which is an
Processor.
ARM-based processor, right?
Yep.
512 gigs of RAM, 2 USB A's, and 1 USB C. I'm not, because you can run Linux on it. The open source, a Linux-based flipper add-on that enables Wi-Fi attacks.
So it's basically a Linux computer that
For
you
your
plug
flipper.
into your flipper.
Right.
That you can control a Linux-based computer with the flipper.
I mean, that's neat. I don't know if it's worth $150.
Yeah, because you know what, I have a Linux-based computer, and I have a whole bunch of other Linux-based computers that are the size of these.
Well,
type
you know
things,
a lot of the cheap Android TV devices that we talked about.
Yep.
Use this
Allwinner.
all-winner chipsets from Allwinner, yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
and you can buy those for $50 online, and some
Yeah.
of them you can hack and put Linux on.
Yep. Yep.
I
That
didn't
was
do it, but I had one that someone made a Debian distribution for it to run
Yep.
Linux on it.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, I've dealt with some all-winter stuff for a long time. And do you remember when I was in Guardians, John Sawyer and I worked on a project called Spank the Monkey?
No, how do I feel like I would remember that from the name, but
So Spank the Monkey was I think it was Fisher Price, had these animals that had a camera and a speaker
I
and a
remember this
microphone,
now. Yep.
and you could get it to read books and do activities, and it connected to the internet to download new content. It was in the age of my friend Kayla. With these internet-connected toys to support additional
Yeah.
additions and so forth. And part of the reason why it was Project Spank the Monkey is that they had 3 different models. One was a panda, the other one was like a brown bear, and another one was a monkey. And the monkey was cheaper by like $15 because it wasn't as popular. So that was the one we bought because we literally tore it apart. We like took all the insides out of it, and turns out it was basically an all-winter tech Android tablet inside,
Right.
minus the screen,
Yeah.
and it even had the LCD connector on the board on the inside.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wait, inside the animal?
Yep.
I had to step away, but yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
inside the stuffed animal, because it used the Android camera, microphone, speaker. It had USB, and it passed that USB through to the outside. But they neutered the cable so it was charge only, so they didn't pass data to the outside. But if you took it apart and disconnected the little extension cable and plugged directly into it, ADB was enabled by default. So on a production device, ADB was enabled with a root shell. So we played with
Yeah,
that.
and ADB root, which is awesome.
Yep, and we went and replaced all the audio. So when it would boot up, the bear or the monkey would start saying things like, "Hey, hold on there, kiddo, we're connecting to the internet." So
Right.
we replaced it with Rockwell's only hit song. I always feel like somebody's watching me.
Yes.
So 'cause there's a camera and a microphone in it, and yeah. So I think I just got rid of some of that. I think I just sent that stuff to the electronics recycler because it had been more than a decade. It'd been almost a
Yeah.
decade. So
Adam Roth, one of the hosts of Security Cocktail Hour, likes my hat, by the way.
nice.
It was a fun podcast. You can find it on the interweb, Security
What
Cocktail Hour.
podcast was it?
Security Cocktail Hour.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. This is a podcast I'd be interested in going on
Yeah.
for many
Well,
reasons.
it's funny. We were talking about like what podcasts I can make an appearance on as part of my role at Eclipsium, and I'm like, I think I've done all the cocktail ones because I've done Barcode, and I've done what's the other one with the cocktails.
Shake it, make it sit. No.
Well, now you're gonna see my Spotify. Not that there's anything. So it's Barcode I've been on, and Hackers on the Rocks. That's the other one.
Hmm.
That's a good one too. Yeah, and both you pick drinks, and all 3 of them you get. It's a drinking thing. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Nice.
What else? I had something else for heart. Oh, this one's kind of weird. So it's funny that I saw this because when I was prepping for my
yes.
my Linux desktop talk, I didn't delve into it in the talk, but I think I've talked about it on the show perhaps. But so when I started at Brown University, I had the option. They asked me, "What do you want for your workstation? Do you want a Windows workstation, or do you want a Sun Solaris workstation?" And I was like, I already know what my answer is, but I'm curious, what does everyone else use? And all the Unix administrators were like, we all use Solaris workstations. I'm like, well, 100% I want a Solaris workstation. That's awesome. Um, and so, but remember the Remedy ticketing system?
Yep.
Remedy had a fat client that only ran on Windows, and we needed to
Ugh.
use that as Unix admins. So we had these cards, and I need to look up what they were, but you put this card inside the Solaris workstation, and it's a mini PC that ran Windows. But what's different from this is my card in my Solaris workstation was I could access the interface from Solaris. So like I basically had almost like a VNC like session, but it wasn't VNC. My guess is that there was some driver in Solaris that they made that allowed me to interface with the Windows PC. I'm like,
Yeah. So
I don't know of anything else that's come out that allows you to do that today.
Yeah.
If someone
So,
finds it, please send it to me because I just think it's really super cool.
I'm completely guessing here, and because I just started listening to reading the NVIDIA Way, and around this technology was some of the ways that NVIDIA got started. And telling the backstory was that one of the engineers, and I think it was it Jensen, or one of the it's been a couple of days since I listened to it. They created the GX graphics card for Sun Microsystems for the enhanced graphics. Despite being management telling them not to do it, they went and did it as a rogue project. But then the engineer that created it left and started their own company. 2 engineers and then Jensen basically to run the company, to basically take the GX and modify it, enhance it, so that it would be 3D rendering for PCs and Solaris. So like this is like early 90s time frame.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised, given coming out of that work, where basically the same chipset could work on Solaris and a PC, that they could do some sort of cross, like frame buffer type
Right.
stuff.
I mean, of course, today we have virtualization,
Right.
which we didn't. I mean, we had it, but I don't know what the state of VMware was in 2001 to run. Probably didn't run on Solaris.
I don't even think it was a
Oracle
thing.
maybe. I had not taken over Sun at that time. It was still Sun Microsystems, and I don't know if they even had developed VirtualBox in 2001.
Yeah,
And so
I
this
don't think
was
so.
this was the solution.
Yeah, a PC within a PC.
Yeah.
So what is
So
this?
this is a PC within a PC, except if you read the full article, they took an NVIDIA graphics card, a GeForce RTX 20 series, which was codenamed Turing, and they put an Intel NUC in it, and it fits in a PCI slot. However, I think that just holds the card. It doesn't actually interface with the PCI bus. You have to power it externally, and it's
Yeah.
literally just like a PC within the PC.
Yep.
So
All
I'm
right,
like,
so-
well, at that point, I would just have a Windows, like I have a Windows PC that has a display. It's over there. I don't think the cord's long enough, but I have a small little Windows PC. that I haven't used in a while, which means I need to update them, which is going to be a process.
VirtualBox initial release was 17 January 2007.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, so they call it. What I loved about this is this company called Cherry Tree, which apparently creates unique custom PCs. Calls it the GeForce 5027 POS. And they're like not available. I think they just probably did like one as a prototype.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was just because you can, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. It uses the
Totally.
cooling system that was on the card. Yeah. And it said something about how it used the PCI bus. Like, I don't think you can interact with it through the PCI bus. It's in there somewhere.
Yeah, I had an epiphany of I've wanted to build like a cyberdeck for a long time. And all
Yes.
the cyberdeck designs
Wait,
I see are
So
kinda
explain
weird.
for the. I want to hear your explanation, Larry, and for the benefit of our audience, what is a cyber deck?
Well, I mean, a cyberdeck is a laptop, but it's arguably one that you build post-apocalypse out of sort of found parts.
Yeah,
Excellent.
okay.
I feel like that's my whole life. We're not even
Yeah,
right.
post-apocalypse.
Yeah,
I mean, that's how we built the podcast studio, essentially. It's
right.
pretty much
But
that same kind of cyber deck deal. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but you build it and it's custom to sort of your functionality. Like my cyber deck would probably have a HackRF built into it. And so you're reusing sort of commodity parts and interconnecting them in a custom case that maybe looks sexy and that type of stuff. I mean, I've seen some that are just basically a briefcase with a screen in it.
Oh, like this one.
Yeah, like something like that. But
Like, look,
sometimes
this has a retro
Nice.
Nintendo controller in it.
exactly
Excellent.
like if you're a gamer, like you build this to be able to do something like that. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
That one looks
So-
pretty cool. Is that a floppy disk?
I don't know.
It looks like he has the same keyboard I have, or similar. Well, the same color scheme on his keyboard that I have on my keycaps.
Yeah, but like so, some of this type of stuff is cool. Like it has this vibe that I appreciate. But like, I don't want those like cables that you have to plug into the monitor to make the keyboard work.
Right.
Like
Look at
That-
this.
that doesn't work for me. Yeah, well, wearable.
Is that a belt? Or you
Yeah,
wear
it
it like
looks
a
like a
guitar?
satchel.
Oh, you wear it like a synth.
Or yeah, the screen's really small on that one, but
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll just make your eyes bigger.
Like
Paul.
there's a
I
Pelican
like, the
case with a computer
switches.
built in.
I like
Right?
the switches here. I don't know if those are functional or not, but those are cool
Awesome.
looking.
I'm sure they do something, but it's also got ports so that you can access like GPIO, and it's got like 3 Ethernet and some
Right.
wireless stuff on the back. And I venture to guess that there's an RTL SDR because that other telescoping
Antennas.
antenna on the back there.
Yeah,
like,
that antenna right there does.
Yeah.
Yep, look like the one that comes with your RTSDL or your
your
HackRF
RTL
one.
SDR. Yep. So like, this speaks to me just from so many levels. Because one, you can you can make it steampunk. You can do you can make it like a totally Nuka-Cola themed because it's all custom. It's all to you. You can use whatever case you want and you
Right.
name it. And I've been wanting to build one for years. And I happened to realize I was doing some cleaning in the basement that I have the perfect opportunity to do my cyber deck, and it's going to take a little bit of work. In my basement, I found a Macintosh portable,
Oh, really?
the luggable systems with a handle that ran off of lead acid battery. I don't know if you're googling that, Paul. Like, it has.
Macintosh portable?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I see. Hold
Yeah, so
on.
you should put you should put that up.
I'm gonna put that up too. Is that it?
Uh-huh. That's
That looks
it.
like it. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
So
That's a perfect
uh-huh.
case for a cyber deck,
Uh-huh.
right? You're
Yep.
right.
So
yeah.
so the current guts for my Macintosh portable do not work, and like it's from arguably from the late '80s, early '90s. So I'm kind of not surprised,
Right.
given that the board probably needs to be recapped and it had sat in some
September,
water.
September 1989 to October 1991.
Yep. But the screen is exactly the same size as an iPad 2 screen.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Uh-huh. So, and they make boards that you can convert, you remove the screen from an iPad 2 and you can convert it to HDMI. So you could
Oh, interesting.
you could power this with a Raspberry 5.
Raspberry,
or
yep,
you could-
Pi 5 is great. I'm telling you, a Pi 5 with the NVMe is a
Yep.
really fast single board computer.
You could put a NUC in here, but now it's just a matter of battery
Yeah.
powering the NUC. But there's so
Right.
much space for battery.
I was just gonna
Yeah.
ask, so how would you power internally?
Yeah, probably battery.
Okay.
Probably lithium ion, probably like the 18650 cells, just because they're replaceable.
Oh, look
type
at
of
that.
thing.
There's another little Macintosh laptop they made too.
Now
Yep.
that's the style I was thinking of first. Whenever you talked about
Yeah.
it.
That would make a cool cyber deck as well.
Yeah, but it's a laptop, so it's already a cyber deck.
It's already
Yeah,
right.
that's
I
true.
was thinking more along the lines of using like a Makita tool case or something like
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, a lot of people do
completely
that.
off.
Yep.
Yep.
Noah Dunker does some stuff with cyber decks. He's built one or
Yep.
two at least.
Yep. So part of the one that I thought was kind of neat with this is that I'd love to be able to retain the original keyboard and trackball.
That'd be
I'm
wild.
not sure I'm going to be able to accomplish that. It's because they use like a ribbon cable. It's like a IDE cable.
Yeah.
Us old folks. And I believe it's the Apple proprietary ADB protocol,
Oh.
which they make ADB converters,
Converters,
so you can
yeah.
use it for USB on like a Windows system. But they're using the DIN connector, like the 9-pin DIN connector, and like
Yep.
they have to figure out pin out, and it's all doable.
Right.
It's just that's the part that's going to take a little bit more time.
Yeah, because how would you even replace that keyboard? It looks kind of like built into the
Oh,
deck.
that's the fascinating part about the Mac Portable. I have my Mac Portable completely disassembled, everything out of the case, and it is toolless.
Really?
Everything comes apart without tools.
I mean,
So
that's like
what
a
is holding it together? Is it like
Plastic
Lego
clips.
Okay.
Plastic clips. Yeah, and the keyboard and the trackpad are removable because you can swap them if you're left-handed.
Mm-hmm.
You can
Ah.
take the keyboard and the trackpad out and swap the sides.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
What about speakers? You gonna have audio?
Yeah, the speaker built in. But yeah, I would put speakers in it.
Speaker's easy, yeah.
So,
How heavy is it?
it is heavy. I want to say it's in the order of 15 pounds.
Wow. But I wonder, like, once you've got the power
Once you-
supply and stuff,
exactly.
yeah, how much it's.
Yeah,
the case probably
it's-
still weighs more than a laptop.
Yeah,
today.
I think the case is about 4 or 5 pounds itself.
Yeah.
The heaviest part of the whole thing is the lead acid battery.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
lead acid battery is like 7 pounds.
I gotcha. Because a laptop today, we're looking at the framework, 12s and 13s they're both 2.8 pounds for reference. Yeah.
Yeah, and
What's the
arguably,
smallest like ham radio setup? Could you add that in there?
I mean, you could do
Like
you could do
a
some
dongle,
stuff
right?
with you could do some stuff with a Hacker F, but yeah, there's total bunch of stuff you could do with some ham radio gear. Totally could fit something like that in.
I think that would be awesome.
That's nice.
Because we need
Thanks,
more
man.
projects. Now I'm
Thanks.
thinking we want to live stream
I
us
know.
building a cyber deck, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Jigglebilly says
Jigglebilly
it depends on the type of radio.
Yeah,
Right.
like you could do like 2 meter 70 centimeter that you could fit in there because it's like walkie-talkie handheld type style. But I'm more of a 10-20 meter kind of guy, so probably something a little bit bigger. But I'm sure that there's something that we can find out there that would fit just nicely.
See, and I think I would tend toward a CB radio. I'd rather talk to truckers within my local area.
I bet we could find some really small CB radios nowadays.
what I'm
Probably.
thinking.
Yeah.
Like if they can make car stereos that are basically no bigger than the faceplate nowadays that are Bluetooth enabled, like
Right.
we could find something. The other one that I think I may have found a screen to do another cyber deck because I've been playing with this one and it's a piece of crap. Is Paul, if you want to search for the Data General Walkabout.
What is a data general walkabout?
Yeah, what is that, right?
Oh, yeah, it's very similar to the
Yep.
Mac thing.
Yes, throw that bad boy up there. Now, the Data General Walkabout it's only a serial terminal. It's a serial console.
Oh,
It
interesting.
It does have a modem, so you could use for like dial up and check your email if you have like Pine. It also you could do a serial connection to it, so again like an external modem.
I wonder what movie that looks like. Is a clip from a movie, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I think that was basically a spoof on some of the Cyberdeck type of stuff, and I
Yeah.
don't even know if that's a real walkabout model.
Right.
Because the real walkabout only has 2 sliders on the side instead of the 3 that they showed.
Yeah. I see.
But my intent here was I have one of these, and I wanted to use it as a serial console for being able to serial console into some Raspberry Pis.
Oh, yeah, that'd be super cool.
Yep. But for whatever reason, the encoding that is used on the serial port, the Walkabout has no idea any of the encoding types, whether it's like ASCII
interesting.
or so. Like, I've spent years trying to do stuff with this on and off, and you
Yeah, like
can't.
how do you interface with the screen? If like let's say you put a Raspberry Pi in that,
Yep.
how would
They-
it interface with the screen?
Yeah. This one, um, totally is going to need to be like a screen replacement. And I think I may have found a screen replacement that will fit, or at least a guy that has some models that might fit. Because in my depths of YouTube, I found that there is a guy that built a Mac Mini into a Cyberdeck. And
Yes.
he uses a screen that folds down that's the size of the keyboard in the Mac Mini, and I bet there's going to be something here.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you
Oh,
talked about using a Nook, right? So that means you could, yeah, that'd be cool to be able to
Yep.
use the e-ink screen.
Oh, and Gigabilly just posted KV4P into the chat there for some ham radio stuff to turn your Android phone into a modern ham radio transceiver. And the irony is, and then I still need to get some of these to Bill, is that I picked up some of that stuff.
I think I remember you talking about this, Larry.
Yep. Yeah, we had this on the show. So yeah, got a couple of the boards right here. So and yep. So there's the board, and yep, and
Oh, I see. That's the board that's in the case. That's on the back of his phone.
yep, ESP32.
Yeah.
And I've got some of the antenna connectors.
Right.
And I've even got the modules there, the DRA 818Vs, so a kit. And yeah, we were going to get some of these over. I was going to get at least one of them over to Bill to do some giveaways at SetKC.
That's
Um,
awesome.
And I have a couple that I built, so I was going to do one as a kit and one as
Like a pre-built.
a pre-built. And the irony is that I had just finished this, and I was in Amsterdam, and put this on the phone while the students were doing CTF
Yeah.
at the end of the SANS class, and was playing with this while I was in Amsterdam. So and
Wow.
I leave for Amsterdam tomorrow. So
Oh, sweet.
so neat
Okay, so
stuff.
all it has to be is an Android-based device.
Yep, because everything, all the radio part is off. Yeah, off device, because it's
Right.
all on the
Right.
the ESP32 and the tuner chip, the tuner stuff. So yeah, you could use this with an Android tablet. You could use it with. I bet you could even, if you could install an app on an Android TV,
Yeah.
you could do
That's
it there
true.
too.
Right.
So
And then I could wear that like a synth too.
yeah.
Um, no, I was thinking about getting the new a different used Pixel that actually is what the listing and the seller said it was, and an unlocked one, and go through Graphene and then add this for the ham radio.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
so
was looking at a
yeah.
different Android thing. I saw this one. So this requires a rooted Android phone, and it's an app that gives you kind of like Kali Net Hunter, but different. Oh, this is pretty cool. I mean, also you could just use a laptop or a Raspberry Pi or something. I mean, kind of neat that you can put it on a phone.
Yep.
I never understood the like pen testing from your phone thing. Like I've done it. I did Kali Net Hunter on a phone. I got it where I was like, oh, that's great.
Yep.
And then I put it in a drawer and forgot about it.
Yep. Kind of like back in the day, the Pwn Pad.
Yes.
Yep.
The Nokia
right.
devices that we used to
Oh,
use.
not only that.
Oh.
Well, yeah, that too. The Nokia device, but also the Pwn Pad from Pony Express.
Mm.
Where
That's
they
what
had,
reminds me
like,
of. Yeah.
The Android tablet, or the Pwn phone.
They had a phone too. I still have it somewhere in a drawer.
Yeah, I do, exactly. I still
Yeah.
have mine in the Pwn Pad, and it was like, yeah, this is cool. And then I think I used it once, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I'd much rather use a laptop.
Yeah, yep. It's like trying to, what is that? The microbit, not the microbit. That little Linux terminal. Like, oh yeah,
Yes.
you can totally code in bed from this. No, you can't.
Yeah.
It's a keyboard that's the size of a Yeah.
Yeah, this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't get
Yeah,
me wrong. I think it's awesome,
it's
but
awesome. I put Linux on it. I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. That's kind of cool. And then it's sat back here, and I haven't done anything with it. But also,
yep.
I've got my CrowView Note with a Raspberry Pi 5 connected to it that I find works really, really well
Yep.
for that
My
stuff.
we pulled out that Chromebook, and literally my Crowview Note is sitting
Yeah.
underneath it because I had to use it the other day to dump some firmware. So, yeah.
But this also has a stick that you can buy, which is interesting. And I'm wondering how we create an open source version of this. So this stick has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth on it and runs Linux. And you can plug that into a phone. So no drivers, root, or jailbreaks. Works on Android, iOS, or Windows. 2.4 and 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Monitor mode injections, remote control. I don't know what the Striker subscription is. But that just looks like a little
The
Linux
Striker subscription is
dongle.
what you were just looking at. The Striker was the app that you
Yeah.
were just looking at, so
Okay.
there must be a subscription model for the pen testing.
Right. I'm not saying I'd
Um,
buy this device, but now I'm kind of curious how we build our own. It looks like it has USB-C and USB-A, similar to my Anchor SD card reader.
Do you guys remember going back to the device you were talking about before with EC Council? Was it their Storm kit? What was the? Do you remember their mini pen testing tool
No.
as a device? I feel like it was called Storm.
Hmm.
Let's see. Oh yeah, okay, they still have it. It's a fully loaded pen test platform which comes equipped with Storm Linux. And it has a portable touchscreen device and a small external keyboard.
I don't know. I tell you what, though, I kind of like my LilyGo T embed.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the T embed? Nope. What is this one? T. It's T something with a CC1101. My lighting is terrible in here today. This is the one I bent the pins on, taking the
Oh,
battery
jeez.
off.
Oop.
Because you have to take the battery off. So it comes with this battery.
Yep.
In the little, connector. What is it? The J.
JST.
JST connector. And it's like so tiny and like really hard to get to. I don't know if you see the JST connector in there.
Yep.
It's kind of like the magnetic thing almost gets in the way of it.
Yeah.
And I bent one of the pins. And so I ordered, it's in the other room, but I ordered the cheap little USB microscope with a display. And so I'm going to repair this, but like I need magnification help in order to get in there and repair it because I can't see anymore.
What are you just
Didn't you
unbending
just
the pin?
get that, or what were you using as the large magnifier?
I have a couple of things. I have a regular USB one in the studio. That's just a USB microscope, and you can get those cheap. Like they're like $12. For like it is like kind of cheesy. But for $30 on AliExpress, I ordered the display with the microscope in it, so I can put something underneath it, and it has like this thing where you can crank and move the microscope up and down to adjust the height. And so I was going to use that to do some of my electronic stuff because I thought it was pretty cool. Because I have to repair this one to get the battery back in it. But I have another one of those. What is it? This is my favorite. In terms of like Flipper Zeros or small hacking devices, this is my favorite. Now I get all the T things confused with LilyGo.
Yeah.
It's a T embed, CC1101.
Throw it up on the screen.
Yeah. So let me move this here. I don't know. That's a different T embed. That's a new one. I don't know what difference. A new version of the T embed with the addition of an SI4732
Digital tuner
digital
radio chip.
AM, FM. What's SW and LW?
Shortwave and longwave.
Oh. That's pretty cool. It's got an external antenna connector on it.
Yep, probably for that shortwave and longwave
Yeah.
stuff.
I did not know this existed.
Yeah, but practicality on the shortwave and longwave stuff. I mean, I'm assuming it's receive only.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, could be interesting.
It's pretty cool looking.
Let's go. Yeah.
And it's only $39.
Wow.
And so, so if you
so
go
what's
back
the
into
one
the
that-
description,
Oh, this is the
yeah.
one.
yeah, the 1101.
Well, thanks a lot, Larry. Now all I'm looking at is our cyber deck.
You're welcome.
Oh yeah, and this one comes with a battery too. So I like this one, $55, and so this is the one I was holding up before, and it comes with the CC1101. Interesting. It ships from a U.S. warehouse. So you might be able to order these.
T-LoRa pager? What?
LilyGo just keeps coming out with new stuff that makes me want to buy it. But then with this T-Embed CC1101 is I can put the Bruce firmware. So I just updated mine. So the Bruce firmware, and I had just updated mine. And the Bruce firmware gives you all of this stuff. Yeah, so LilyGo T-Embed CC1101, you can see supports all the features
Bruce.
of Bruce, which is pretty wild. And you can even, I want to hack this one to do the antenna. It has an antenna thing. You can attach an external antenna.
Yeah.
And like, where are we with releases?
See what I really
1.10.2. So 3 days ago they made a release. So they're actively developing this.
What I really want was some of these the T devices, like the T deck and all that type of stuff. Like the T deck is awesome, and it's got a screen and a keyboard. But if you really want it to be useful on something like Meshtastic, you need to connect it to an app on your phone and do your messaging from the app on the phone.
Oh, not anymore.
No?
They released the
like
the
you
new
can
version.
do it right from they can do it right from the keyboard on the T deck?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So 2.6 is the preview, but I think it's out of preview now.
Okay.
So Meshtastic. Yeah, they've got a version.
Because that's really what I want. Is I want the device to be that communicator. Because I'm looking at LilyGo's website, and they've got this new device that is coming out called the T-LoRa pager.
Yeah.
Which looks like it has an e-ink display and a keyboard that is a handheld like that. And it says LoRa chat. I'm like, yeah, that's what.
Yeah. So the new version of Meshtastic 2.6 introduces the MUI or Meshtastic UI, which lets you do everything from the device.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a screenshot right there.
Nice.
So you actually get a UI that you don't have to use the app to interact with it. And at one time they were gating the preview, and you had to enter the contra code or the.
Yep.
Is that right? Contra code up, down, left, right.
Up, down, left, right, BA start.
Yes. And if you did that on the website, it would unlock it so you could install the preview. So a couple of my coworkers did it. But I don't think you have to do that anymore. I think you can actually flash 2.6.
Flash the Meshtastic preview over on the right-hand side there.
Yeah. Yeah, and it has the, but I think let's go to the flasher now. Oh, I have to select a device.
Yep.
Oh, which one were you talking about that has a screen?
Scroll down. LilyGo T deck. You just scroll by it.
Oh. LilyGo.
Second one in, top row.
Oh, yeah. I have one of these. Yeah, and 2.6 beta.
Yep.
2.6 beta, so you'd get the interface with this one. I have some other LilyGo devices in the studio, Larry, that we should do next time. That I 3D printed cases for them and everything. I just need to put them all together. Like I have one of the Heltechs.
Yep.
And a T-beam. So I've got a T-beam that I printed a case for, and one of the Heltech devices. I don't remember which one.
Yeah.
The regular one.
I've got
the
some
regular
Heltechs.
Heltech.
Yep. And
Heltech
I've
V3.
got some T-beam, and I've got some T-beams as well in the drawer behind me.
Yeah.
I think I've even got. No, I have the T-beams. So, yeah, those you're kind of left with, connecting on the phone because there's limited input options. But
Right.
like I bought the T-Deck because it had the keyboard, and like, oh, like I can do everything right here. No, you
Yes.
connect it to the phone through the app. But now, okay.
Yeah, and it's in my other office, but I have the T-Deck with the I put an external antenna connector on it.
Oh.
It was a pretty simple swap. I think I just had to get like a little Dremel tool and bore out the hole for the
connector.
antenna.
Yep.
It was pretty easy, and it installed and
Nice.
working great. So yeah, I need to do some flashing in assembly, which I was hoping we could do live on the air at some point too.
Yeah. Totally.
So yeah, your feature request is answered. You can actually have an actual interface from
Yeah.
Meshtastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was confused too, and it was Mike Kershaw at ShmooCon told me, like, dude, you just need the app. I'm like, oh, that makes so much more sense now because multiple people, myself included, like installed Meshtastic, and I was like, the interface doesn't let me do anything.
Yeah.
Like, oh, if I chat, I have to go in the app.
Yeah. Exactly. Like. Yeah. I mean,
Okay, that
using
makes more
Meshtastic.
I think you were sitting next to me, Larry, at the Meshtastic talk by what's his name? We know him. This is a nice guy. He gave the Meshtastic talk at ShmooCon. I can't think of his name. I apologize now, but
Yep. Right, same. Yeah.
you
No,
know
we
it-
were sitting.
you know him by his
next
handle. Whatever his
Yep.
handle is, that's what he goes. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
because we were because we were playing with Meshtastic stuff
Yeah.
at ShmooCon and
In
like,
the talk, and mine started like beeping all over the place. Like,
Yep.
oops.
Exactly. Exactly. Turn the beeps off.
Mhm.
Yep. So, like, to me, like, having to have the phone connected to the Meshtastic device to send messages,
Yeah, it was
it's
kind of
cool.
weird.
It's cool, but it doesn't have that post-apocalyptic Mandy
Absolutely not.
vibes.
Like that kind of defeats the purpose, and that's what I was wondering too, because I haven't played with my Meshtastic since right after Shmoo.
Yep. I'll say, see, Mandy's is right in front of her, too, and mine is sitting
Yeah.
right here, right? Yep.
Yeah. And so, but I think it was my T-beam, the 3D printed case. I have to do the thing where you heat up the little screw receptacle thing. What is that
Yep.
called?
The
heat it
nuts,
up and push-
the screw inserts, the nutserts,
Yeah.
as they were. Yep.
But you have to heat it up.
Yep.
And then push it in. So you have to use
Yep.
like a
Soldering
soldering iron, or people make like special tool. I've seen people 3D print a
Yep.
press that I don't know. I think they put a soldering iron
Yep.
inside of
Soldering
it,
iron. Yep.
and it's a press. If you're doing a lot of them, you want to 3D print the whole get
Yep.
up.
I think I just saw one of those. Somebody had one on Hackaday within this week.
Yeah.
So.
So you heat up the insert and then you push it into the plastic.
Yep.
And it
Melts the
melts it.
plastic. And then
Yep.
you pull the it cools down and keeps it there. Yep.
Yeah. So I got to do that for the T-beam thing. And this has a screen too. The LilyGo T-beam.
Yep.
Has a small
Again, it's
screen
not
on it.
it's not terribly useful. You can use it to change channels and bands and speeds and that type of stuff. But and see messages, but you can't respond to messages, if I recall.
Right. Yeah, this is the T-beam. They're $30. Yeah, this is the kit that I have because the screen. Do I have to solder it on? I think it required some soldering
Yeah. So they
to put this together.
In these cases here, they have both. They have the pre-soldered and the non-soldered.
Oh yeah. I think I might have gotten a non-soldered one.
Yeah, because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Because what the soldered is $31.99 and the non-soldered was
30. Yeah.
$1.22.
Right.
Saved yourself, Paul. You saved yourself $1.22.
I know.
Well,
Right.
it was probably different at the time, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
So we need to move some of the soldering stuff over to our podcast table. I think, Larry, is what I'm thinking.
Yep. We're
Mm.
working on it. And certainly for this show, That was part of my cleaning up of the basement.
Mm-hmm.
Is that I am moving my soldering workstation from the basement um, to the actual workshop, because now I have workshop space and those types of things. So, but I ran out of time last
I
weekend.
set it up right here. I think I can set up the soldering right here. and
Yeah,
then
I'm
the
in this.
camera.
I need to set up something because a lot of it is at the studio, and I gotta help. One of my friends has a Ubiquiti access point, and it has 2 Ethernet ports. One that supports power over Ethernet, and one that doesn't.
Yep.
And he had some kind of brownout or lightning storm, and it burned out the power over Ethernet on the access point. And we believe the access point is fine, but
Yep.
just that port needs to be replaced. So I chat GPT'd the thing, and I'm like, you can buy a replacement part. So he's ordering the replacement part for it. I'm like, I just need to desolder the old Ethernet port and solder on the new one.
Hopefully.
Shouldn't be that bad, hopefully. And hopefully it
yeah.
works. Hopefully nothing else got shorted out or burned out. But
Yep. Yeah. I would venture to guess that probably something else did get shorted out, but maybe. Hopefully you'll get lucky.
Right. Yeah, and so I need like all my soldering stuff, which is at the I need the desolder braid and the hot iron
Yep.
and all that. And that's all at the studio. On a table on the other side, by the windows. We don't have cameras over there or anything, so I don't know. Maybe we start moving some of that stuff over and putting a camera on it.
Yep. Yeah, I'm sure we've got some cameras of some variety around.
Yeah. Well, the problem is by the windows in the studio, there's no lights. I haven't put the lights up.
I think we probably got some lights around.
Yeah, but the lights are already on the set. We could just move them around. Maybe have like a little extension table with some stuff on it.
Yep.
It ends up being a lot of stuff, though. I mean,
yeah. Right down at the other end of the table in the studio, right?
Yeah.
Because,
But then the problem is if we want to have 4 guests, then we have to like move everything
Right.
around. But
Right.
we haven't had 4 guests in like almost a year.
Yep.
Like since we took over the studio, we haven't a lot of in-studio guests. We should work on that. But
Yep. Yeah, Mandy, I just clicked on the link for the mobile security toolkit that you posted in the chat there.
Yeah.
Kind of neat.
So I. Yeah.
Raspbian-based customized distro Linux. I wonder what the actual hardware platform for that is. I mean, it says it's a Broadcom quad-core, but like, what's the device?
interesting.
Yeah.
Because it when
$800. Good
yeah,
lord.
$800, which is the same price it was. Because remember when we were
Reject
at
all.
Hacker Halted, Paul? Like we
Yes.
keynoted at Hacker
That was
Halted.
a long
and then
time ago.
It was.
Feels like.
It was a long time ago, and that's when and I was supposed to speak, and then didn't work, but it was $800 back then.
I mean, that's just the Raspberry Pi with a display on it. I mean,
Exactly.
you could build that for what? Like, you can buy that case and the display in a Raspberry Pi
Oh,
for maybe $200.
Maybe.
Yeah, and that's what I think, because back then they had, like, EC Council had offered me one. I don't remember what was going on, but that was the same thing, because with Shadow Syndicate, we were looking at it, and I was like, well, I felt like we could build it for way less than what.
You can build it for
$800.
a little less than $200
Now,
would be
the
my
only
guess.
thing I don't
Depending
know-
on which Raspberry Pi you put in it, like that, you can buy those displays with the case, because I was looking into them for pretty cheap from any store that sells Raspberry Pi accessories, right? Like options are endless.
But look at the software list or the tools that list, like, same thing. Is it that they aren't too expensive?
Yeah, Raspberry Pi Touch Display 2 from Raspberry Pi Foundation is $60.
Yep. Well, it's a Raspberry Pi 5 if you wanted to go crazy. With an NVMe is like 120,
Raspberry
150
Pi
bucks.
5 is available from $50. Obviously, the
Yeah,
price
depending
will
on
go
your
up.
RAM options, right?
Yep.
I think the 8 gig is 80 bucks.
Yeah, let's just go for the 16 gig here. The 16 gig is 132.
Okay.
excuse me, the 2 gig is 50, and I'm looking at Adafruit already here in the U.S.
So if you did a 16 gig and the case with a display, you're around $200.
Okay.
Yep. The magic comes from whatever they've done to the operating system.
Right, but you can put. I have Kali running on mine. Now I added the NVMe to mine, which is sitting behind me on my CrowView. So your NVMe riser board and an NVMe is, I don't know, whatever that costs extra. I don't remember.
Yeah, let me see if I can.
The problem is if you add the NVMe on it, fitting it, you have to make sure it fits inside the case that goes in your display.
That's the Raspberry Pi M2 hat.
Yeah, the M2 hat.
Yep.
What do those cost? $30, I guess.
Stand by. Oh, $45 plus the
Yep.
NVMe drive.
And the Raspberry Pi Foundation sells NVMe drives that are perfectly compatible with everything, which I highly recommend because they're reasonably priced.
They have the vendors that do. And
Yeah.
In fact, that's I was looking.
Yeah,
at
they're
it,
just
so-
OEMing it from somewhere else. But
Yeah,
I like
so-
those because like they're known to work. If you get one of the other ones though, it's like it might work, it might not, and then you're wondering why it doesn't work. I just order the one from Raspberry Pi is my suggestion.
Yep. So Vilrose has one 512 gig SSD with the compatible case is $120.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like depending on your options, you're around $200 plus or minus depending on your options.
Yep.
To build just that, you can put Kali on it, and it would have probably all the same tools they have here, and you're off to the races.
And for the record, we're not poo-pooing what
No.
the council
No,
is doing
because
here at
there's
all.
sometimes value in just having it ready. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, I
okay.
mean, and that's the Wi-Fi pineapples from Hack 5. That there's value in that. They've got the tools, the support process, it's all very, very highly polished. I mean, if you want to do Wi-Fi attacks, that's a pretty awesome option because it's so polished, right?
Yep.
In their hardware, it looks friggin' awesome.
Yep.
I saw a video, I think I saved it on my Instagram, but of someone that took a Wi-Fi pineapple and added antennas that look like they were on a cell tower as all of the antennas. So I don't know, like one of the pineapples has, I don't know, 8 antennas, right? Probably for your different bands and whatever. And he added 8 cell tower antennas to it, and I think put it like up in his attic or on his roof or something. It was crazy.
Nice.
Like you're talking. Like holy crap, could you get Wi-Fi?
Yeah. So
I
what
mean, if you did that, conceivably, if it was on the roof, you could get Wi-Fi in like my whole neighborhood. Like my whole neighborhood's about 50 homes. Larry, like roughly the size of my neighborhood.
Yeah.
I could probably get Wi-Fi at anyone's backyard in my neighborhood with that.
Yep.
that.
So what the Wi-Fi Pineapple Enterprise has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 antennas.
Mm.
Yep. And yeah, they probably put panel or patch antennas on that. So yeah, I mean you're talking a fair amount of money for something like that. Especially if you're talking the enterprise version, the basic enterprise version is $850.
For a Wi-Fi pineapple?
Yep, for the enterprise version.
Yeah.
Yep. If you want advanced Wi-Fi auditing and see the remote cloud-based access, it's $1,200. But if you just want the standard Pineapple, it's either $240 or the tactical one with the extra radios is $320.
Now I don't know if I don't think I saved that video. I save a lot of ridiculous videos
Oh,
on
yeah.
Instagram. Some of which are not safe for work. That I share in our internal chat.
Yep.
I guess I didn't
Yep.
save that one.
Hey, Paul, looking at the time here,
Yes, I was thinking
Yeah.
the same thing.
because as I'm realizing, I need some lunch and I have a meeting in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Well, Larry, Mandy, thank you for joining today. Thanks everyone who tuned in live, and we are working on formalizing this. It's been going a lot better, I think, in the live stream. I felt really good about this week in terms of all the logistics and pulling this off. Finally, this is our 5th episode, so we'll work on getting those previous ones edited down and out there for the masses in terms of podcast and on our YouTube channel. So
Yeah, and very much, it's pretty clear it's a lot more stream of consciousness type of.
yes,
Hey, we found this neat project. Mandy threw some stuff in on this project. We talk about them.
right.
So it's what's that the whole thing that some of the YouTubers are doing now? Like they've got their channel and they're monetized because they're very focused on certain content.
Right.
But they also have very similar type of interests, and that's their second channel.
Right.
So this is like the
Yeah,
second channel
The
vibe
second
to
channel.
it. Yeah.
for sure. Well, thanks everyone for watching. See you
Yeah.
next time.
See ya.